Hi yogis, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Kassandra and today we're doing a super slow flow. So I want you to imagine that you are in a big jar of honey and that all your movements have resistance coming to them. So this is actually how I like to practice on my own at home, but I haven't never really made a YouTube yoga class for it because I honestly don't know if you guys will even like practicing this way, but it's a wonderful way to build up a lot of great muscle and a lot of flexibility. So it's going to be really, really, really slow, but really great and really juicy. So we are going to begin in a wide-legged child's pose. And I'm not using any props for this practice, but it's always a good idea if you want to have a block close by. Big toes will come together, knees fall apart. Just let yourself melt forward into this child's pose. Taking a few breaths as we get centered and grounded. Pressing the hips down to the heels. Letting the forehead rest so the neck can relax. So our intention today, by moving really slowly, is to develop mindfulness and to feel every single muscle as it contracts and release. So too often when we rush through our practice, sure, we're able to do all the poses, but we don't really get the full benefit because we're just not staying in the poses long enough, and we're also not really being mindful of our transitions in and out of the poses. So this class is all about enjoying the transitions and making them part of our practice. The biggest part of our practice, really. And start to come up onto your fingertips, so the elbows lift off the mat. And you can bring the palms in a little bit and just lift the forehead off the ground and start to move a little side to side. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. We're just trying to get some movement into the rib cage. So you're swaying a little, bending the elbows, swaying the head. Maybe one hip lifts off the heel and then the other. Just keeping that fluidity going. And then walk the palms in a little bit more and start to trace some circles with the upper body. So rounding and then pressing the chest out. So it's almost like a circular cat and cow, but with your child's pose, the legs. And you can reverse in the other direction. Keep breathing as you do this. And we'll lift up onto our hands and knees into your tabletop pose. Palms flat to the ground. Instead of having the hands directly underneath their shoulders, you'll need to walk your hands further forward with the toes curled under. So cat and cow to a modified child's pose, really making this a fluid motion. As you inhale, drop the belly, lift the gaze, curl tailbone up, and really rock the weight forward into the palms. And then as you exhale, contract around the spine, chin to chest, and press the hips all the way back to your heels. Just like a wave, as you inhale, lean the weight forward, arch through the spine. Exhale, round, press it back. A few more at your own pace. Try not to rush it. And really just feel the effects that this has. I like to normally close my eyes when I'm practicing this way, so you can really tune in. And the great thing about this kind of slow practice is it's great to do whenever you feel like you've reached a plateau in your practice. You feel like you're not really improving or nothing's really changing. This is a great thing and a great way to switch things up. Take about one more. Inhaling and exhaling. And then slide all the way forward onto your belly. We're going to bring our fingers out in front of us onto the fingertips. As you inhale, lift the chin and the chest up. Wave the heart forward. Exhale, move it down. Super slow. Inhale, pulls you up. And exhale, melts you down. One more, inhale. And exhale. Bringing the palms underneath the shoulders. Let's make our way to our first downward facing dog. Curl the toes under and lift the hips up and back. So hands are about shoulder width distance apart. Feet are about hip width distance apart or so. And you can go ahead and paddle the feet, shake out the legs, sway the hips a little side to side. Get comfortable. Targeting the outer edges of the hips a little bit. From this down dog, lift your heels really high off the floor and then drop both heels down to the right side of your mat. Bend into your right knee and press into your outer left hip. Maybe even come up onto your left fingertips as you look underneath your right shoulder, or your left shoulder, sorry. Relax your neck. Lift the heels all the way back up, switch sides. Heels go to the left this time. Bend your left knee, press into your right hip. Maybe lift up onto the right fingertips and look underneath your right shoulder. Coming all the way back into that down dog. Let's reach our right leg up towards the sky. Bend the right knee, open up that hip. And take a big circle with that right knee. So bring it in towards the shoulder. Super slow. Then all the way down. And then all the way back up. Now, as if you were moving through a big jar of honey, we're going to want to step our right foot to the outer edge of our right hand. Before we do that, straighten and square your leg. But then, instead of squaring it so it's facing down, keep your toes facing out towards the corner of your mat and shift forward into your plank pose with that right leg straight, really slowly. Open up the leg, open up the hip, look forward, slow, super slow. You're going to try to step that foot all the way to the top of the mat, to the outer corner. Keep your fingertips high on the ground, melt the heart forward, drop the hips down low. Let's lower the left knee down to the mat. Bring your right hand onto your hip. Press open. A little twist. Draw that right shoulder back. Plant the left hand down to the floor. We're going to move from here into a quad stretch. So the right hand reaches towards the back of the mat. Either stay here, or if you feel like you can go further, you're bending into that left knee and pulling it in. So we're going to move here, again, nice and slow. So as you inhale, you're going to kick that left heel into your right hand as you open up the chest. And on the exhale, you're going to pull that heel in towards the glute. 2 more times. Inhale, push, and look up. Exhale, squeeze, and bring it in. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Bring your hands down to the floor. We meet back into our downward facing dog. From this down dog, like a wave, lift your heels high off the ground, pull your navel in, and ripple forward until you get your shoulders over the top of your wrists. Knees come down to the floor first, bend the elbows, lower all the way down to the mat. Take a little cobra, inhale. Exhale, melt the chest down, fingertips out. Let's come back into that deeper cobra. Press and lift, inhale. Exhale, release. Hands underneath the shoulders, downward facing dog. Let's do that sequence on the other side. Left leg rises, bend the left knee, open up that hip. And you're going to straighten that left leg. Keep the toes pointing out towards the left. Start to lift your right heel off the ground and reach that left leg open as you look forward and start to transition into your plank pose. Keep squeezing. Hold. And you're going to step that foot to the top corner of your mat. So both hands to the inside of that left leg. Stay high onto the fingertips as you drop the hips down and lift the gaze up. Breathe into the hips. Right knee comes down to the floor. Take a little twist, left hand onto your left thigh. Draw the shoulder back and look up. Plant the right hand to the mat. Reach your left fingertips further back and hold on to your back heel. So 3 times. As you inhale, kick the right foot further away from you. Open the chest, lean back. And then exhale, pull the heel in towards the glute. Inhale, press back, look up. Exhale, squeeze it in. One more, inhale. And exhale. Release, hands to the ground, downward facing dog. Let's take our vinyasa. Inhale, ripple forward through the plank like a wave. Maybe lowering all the way down. Take your cobra. Inhale, breathe. Exhale, all the way down, fingertips out. Lifting up a little higher in that cobra. Inhale. Exhale to lower. Downward facing dog. So from this down dog, you're going to lift your heels high off the mat, ripple forward into your plank pose. And you're going to drop your heels to the left. Lean on your left hand so you're in your side plank pose. Reach your arm up overhead so the right fingertips are facing or pointing towards the top of the mat, and take your little tree pose variation if it's accessible. So right foot to the inside of that right thigh, press and lift it up. Deep breaths through the side body. Straighten your right leg. Start to look down, right hand to the floor, right away to the other side of your side plank. Same thing. So on your right hand, left arm extends up and over. Bring your left foot to the inside of your right thigh. Press and lift the hips. Breathe. Looking down to the ground, plank pose. From this plank pose, we're just going to come to up dog. Keep the toes curled under. So just drop the hips, reach the heart forward, and just rock back and forth onto the toes. And you can wave a little side to side. Just making space in any way that feels good for the chest. Back into your downward facing dog. Let's extend our right leg up towards the sky. Inhale. Super slowly bend that knee. Start to bring it in towards your chest. Resist as you move in for that plank pose. Start to look forward past your palms and step that foot through. Anchor the back heel down so we're coming up into our warrior one. Right knee is bending generously. Hips are facing forward. Arms go up. So doing like a dancing, waving warrior from here. If you ever did ballet, this is almost like a swan-like type of movement. As you inhale, you're going to move into a back bend, bend the elbows, open up the chest. And then exhale, dive forward, resist, slow. Arms move. Inhale, pulls you back up into that back bend. Exhale, forward and down. Last one with control. Inhale. And exhale. From here, just slide your right foot in a little bit so you're not all the way to the top of the mat. And we're going to stand on that right leg and lift the left leg back up. Standing splits. Bend into both knees. Really feel the resistance here. Go slowly until both knees are touching. Keep the left foot hovering off the ground. Bring your hands at your heart and come up to stand. Really feel the glute and the right thigh engage. Pull your left knee up with you. Arms reach up overhead. Straighten your left leg. Point through the toes. Into your warrior three like you're moving through jelly. Start to extend the arms back. Left leg back. Lean the chest forward. Pull the navel in. Back into your standing splits. Bend into your supporting leg. Downward facing dog. Inhale to plank pose. Right away to your upward dog. Keep the toes curled under. Exhale, downward dog. Second side, reach your left leg up nice and high. And then pull your knee in towards your belly, in towards your nose. Lift the right heel off the floor. Shift the weight forward into that plank pose. Look past your hands. Step it through. Ground the back heel down. This is warrior one. Press and lift up. Square both hips, both shoulders to the front of the mat. Arms up. As you inhale, find a back bend. So you're bending the elbows, opening up the chest. Exhale, slowly move forward. Arms reach out in front of you. Press into the legs. Inhale, come on up. Bend the elbows. And lower your way down. Last one, keep grounding the back heel. Inhale. And exhale. Fingertips down to the floor. You're going to slide that left foot in a little bit. Standing splits. Right leg rises. So you're not kicking that right heel up. You're really engaging the muscles down that right leg. Squeezing the glutes to help it up. Resist as you bend both knees. Drop the hips. And bring your knees really close towards one another so they're touching. Keep the right foot off the floor. Look forward, hands together. Start to lift up. Pull your right knee in with you. Arms rise, right leg straightens. Warrior three, arms go back, don't rush it. This will also help with your balance. Standing splits, fingertips down to the floor, right leg up. Downward facing dog, slowly. Hands down, step the left foot back. Inhale to plank all the way to your up dog. Like a wave, back to your down dog. Take a few breaths here. Let's reach our right leg up towards the sky. Bend the right knee, open up that hip. And keep that knee bent. You're going to pull it in towards your chest and cross it over. So you're trying to bring your left knee over towards your right knee over towards your left elbow. Keep it hovering. You're going to lean onto that right hand. Turn to the inside edge of your left foot. And you're going to cross your ankle onto your knee or cross the thigh. So it's almost like your eagle legs. Left arm extends up and over. Press into that bottom hand to help the hips come up even higher. You can start uncrossing the legs a little bit. Look down, left hand to the floor. Lift the left heel off the mat. We're going to come to our side plank on the other side. So roll to the outer edge of your left foot. You're going to reach your right arm up, right knee up, and then step that right foot back behind you. Come into your wild thing. Pressing into the legs. Downward dog, slowly. Feel every little movement. Moving to the other side, left leg rises. Bend the left knee, open up that hip. And moving into your plank pose, you're going to bring your left knee over towards your right elbow. Roll to the inner edge of that right foot. Lean onto your left hand, and you can hook either the ankle to your knee, or you can wrap the thigh around and even loop the toes. Right arm goes up overhead. Press into that palm, lift the hips. Stretch really long through the side body. This is a slow class, but it's a challenging class. Looking down to the mat, right hand comes down. Release the feet, but just lift your heel up. Transition to your side plank on the other side. Left arm, left leg up into your wild thing. So the left toes just go back behind you a little bit, and the left arm extends up and over. Moving in honey, downward dog. Let's take our last vinyasa. Inhale, forward to plank. Let yourself come all the way down to your belly for this one. Point the toes back, cobra. Child's pose, big toes together. Knees apart, let yourself rest. Let's bring the palms in, lift the chin, lift the chest, and keep your knees about hip width distance apart or so. Just lift up so you can curl the tailbone under before letting the hips come back down to the heels. Just walk your palms out in front of, back behind you, and lift the chest up, bending the elbows as if you're trying to squeeze your elbows in towards one another. You should feel a stretch into the tops of the shoulders here. Let's swing our legs forward and lower all the way down to your back. Pull your knees into your belly. Maybe rock a little side to side. You're welcome to just stay here, pulling the knees wide apart and drawing them down, or you can take your happy baby pose, catching hold of the big toes or the soles of the feet. Lifting the heels up so the ankles are stacked over the knees. Start to let go of your practice. Let go of the big toes. Bring the soles of your feet together to touch as if you were doing butterfly, but lying down on your back. So holding on to the outer edges of your feet, keep pressing your elbows to the insides of your legs so the knees open a little wider. And you can either stay here if this is already plenty, or you can start to open up the legs. So keep the feet together, but as if you were trying to straighten the knees, and you can use your hands to bring the feet closer in towards you. So if you go too far, the hips will completely lift off the floor. We want to keep our hips grounded. You're just really using your arms to bring the feet in. 5 breaths here. And release. Making your way into Shavasana, our final resting pose. Take up some space. Palms facing up. Release. Get as comfortable as you can here. And feel the subtle effects on the entire body of this practice. So it's easy to focus on the chest, on the hips, on the arms. But go deeper than that. As if you could feel into the muscles themselves or into the bones. Or even areas of your body that you don't normally think about. Like the tips of your fingers. The back of your knees. The base of your neck. The nostrils. Feeling all of it. Start to breathe a little bit deeper, filling up the belly and the chest with your breath. Making little movements in the fingers and toes, or just turning the head side to side. You can reach your arms up overhead and stretch deeply from the fingers down to the toes. And we'll roll to one side. Use your arms to help yourself come up and take a seat. Eyes can stay closed here. Hands can rest on the tops of the knees or join together at the front of the heart. Let's close our practice by taking one breath together. Inhale through the nose. Hold. And out the mouth. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. Namaste. Thank you so very much, everyone. Please make sure you subscribe to my channel. And if you're interested, in January 2017, I'm launching a lunar yoga program where we sync up our practices with the cycles of the moon. It's filled with guest interviews, special journaling exercises, live calls with me. It's going to be really great. So link to that is going to be down in the description box. And otherwise, I will see you next week. Bye, guys.